Guys, so I didn't think I was going to be back on here before Christmas, but I've been doing a deep reflection of the last year of 2023 and about Christmas, a reflection on Christmas. And I want to just, I don't know, I just want to give a little Christmas reflection, if you will, and brag on Mary a little bit because that's what I do, right? So 2023 was extraordinarily hard for me. I would say it was probably the hardest year I've had in recent memory. It was just a really dark and discouraging year. I had a lot of issues to the point where at one point I felt like Job, to be honest with you. I mean, I was having health issues and financial issues and um, loneliness issues because it was like everybody who I had previously relied on and kind of leaned on in different areas of my life was just taken away from me. I lost my last living grandparents. It was just like a whole bunch of stuff, right? To the point where my faith was really, really tested this year. I'm going to be honest with you. I still did everything I was supposed to do as far as going to mass every Sunday and things like that. But I was not believing it. There was times where I was questioning it. Like, why am I even doing this? And in those moments, I would, those thoughts are scary when we have those as Catholics. When we start doubting our faith, those thoughts can be really scary. And so what I did to try to offset those was to try to, when they would come up, I would try to counter them by just praising God for all the good things in my life and saying, I know this isn't your fault. We live in a fallen world, and trying to think about it rationally. But my feelings about the faith and things like that were not, they weren't good. I was in a really, really dark period for a really extended amount of time, months and months and months. I would say pretty much the whole year. And in this darkness, I was being called to something. I was being called to rebrand my business, which to some people may not seem like a big deal. For me, it was a huge deal because I had just spent the last 7 years building a brand that the Lord was now asking me to basically destroy and start over. And in the calling I kept feeling and kept hearing was start over, but this time with my mother. And that's really scary for a business owner to hear who has spent the last 7 years building up a brand. So, and at the same time that I'm hearing this call, everything around me is in utter darkness. My finances, nothing was going well. And so I'm like, at times I'm like, the audacity, like, why in the world would I give my business to God when everything is failing? Like, obviously he's not there in any other area of my life right now. And that's really how I felt. But I see it now for what it was. And it was a test. It was a trial. It was a test of faith. And with that, of course, the devil was throwing all kinds of temptations at me in the form of rich men, which is the one I just talked about, but also in some other areas as well. And so what has happened over this last month, so that I would say that call started coming in around the middle of the year or so. And it took me until December, the last month of the year, to actually act on it. And I did act on it. And since I have acted on it, so it's funny, my LLC, so I changed the name of my business. I actually essentially started a new business with a new EIN and a new everything. So it's essentially a new business. And so it formed on, so I submitted the paperwork for the LLC at least on December 8th, which was the Immaculate Conception, Feast of the Immaculate Conception. The business name, and that's ironic, that was not planned. That was literally the only time I had to do it. The business name is Immaculate Investigations, and the logo incorporates the Immaculate Heart. The paperwork was accepted by the state, and the LLC was officially formed on 12/12, which is Our Lady of Guadalupe. So just so you know, God, that in and of itself dramatically helped restore my faith, because I was like, okay, like, this is real. Like, because I was getting nothing. I'm telling you, for like the last year, no signs, no wonders, like nothing that was like sustaining my faith. Not that our faith should be based off of that, but it was just dark. It was just, I was questioning what I was even doing in the church at one point. I'm like, is this even real? I mean, it was horrible, guys. Like, I'm not proud of it. I wish I could say that I had the faith of the saints or something, but it was a really big struggle for me. And like I said, it's still there's areas of my life that aren't great still. But anyway, I'll get into that. So since I took the leap of faith and I basically said, okay, fine, have it your way. I'm going to get rid of everything I've done and start over with you. Start over with Mary, really. The most miraculous things have happened in my business. People have just been dropped on my lap. Doors have opened that I could not have orchestrated on my own. For example, I got offered the best Christmas gift, right? Yesterday I got offered for next year after the holidays, some free mentoring from a woman. Her name is Mary, go figure, who runs a MBA program up in Ohio at a college. She has a PhD. She's ran all kinds of business books, worked for 15 or so Fortune 500 companies. She offered to mentor me for free because I'm a Catholic and I'm Italian. She's also Italian. And I want to talk about that a little bit too. So things like that, like just really real deal miracles, like doors that I couldn't have opened on my own have opened because I said, okay, have it your way, because I finally chose to be submissive and obedient and to listen to the call I was receiving, even though my prayers were literally not answered in any other area of my life. It was like the more I was praying, the worse my situation was getting. I'm not joking. It was to that point. It was so frustrating. All year, I just had the most frustrating year. The worst kinds of betrayals you could ever imagine. Death of my grandparent. I think I said that. My last living grandparent. That was really hard. That was, I was really close with my grandparents, all of them. Not so much my last one that died. He was probably the one I was least close with. But that was really... it was a closed chapter, I would say, in my life, and it was hard. See, that's why I didn't do this live. I didn't want to cry in the live stream, but it was a really hard year. It was just complete. I was just desolation. That's how I felt all year, just alone, abandoned, desolate. But there was something in me deep down in my faith that knew the faith was still real, that knew I still had to go to Mass on Sundays, regardless of if I felt completely abandoned. And so this last month really has been the light in the darkness of my entire year. So I want to say, if you are going into Christmas feeling less than holly jolly and merry, because there's so many bad things going on in the world right now, wars and the price of everything is outrageous, and health issues and all kinds of stuff. So if you're going into this Christmas feeling a little less in the Christmas spirit, as I have been, I want to say Christmas has a deeper meaning than that. Christmas is really for the people who are in the darkness, right? So like the St. Andrew's Novena says, I'm paraphrasing because I don't have it in front of me, but the child Jesus born in the dark, cold night of winter to a virgin, in a manger. That's what Christmas is about. It's about Jesus and Mary and the Holy Family being that light, that pinpoint of light in a completely dark and desolate world. That's the meaning of Christmas. And so if you're going into this Christmas season with a little less of a holly jolly spirit because of the circumstances of everything, I just want to say, then you're on the right track. Because that's who Christmas is for. So that's my Christmas reflection. But yeah, it has kind of run parallel with the things in my life, such as my business. And so for me, like something like somebody offering to mentor me at that level for free is life-changing. I've had to work so hard to break out of a blue-collar mindset. Not that there's anything wrong with being blue-collar, but it's just everybody I know and everything I'm familiar with, the ultimate goal in life is to get a good job, to get a union job with benefits. So men would get construction jobs or law enforcement, whatever had union benefits and a pension. And women were, all the women that I know, or, my friends and stuff that I grew up with, either go into healthcare or teaching. So I'm like really this unicorn of like this black mysterious unicorn that nobody really understands. And so I don't have mentors. And so for something like that, just to get dropped on my lap is absolutely life-changing and huge for me. So anyway, I'm kind of getting rambly, but I just wanted to say, if that's really my reflection, my Christmas reflection is that I've learned about the meaning of Christmas on a deeper level this year. Of course, we celebrate the birth of Jesus. We celebrate with family, and those are all really good things. But for me, the meaning of Christmas this year is just that pinpoint of light in complete darkness and desolation. And that's really what the entire month of December has been for me in a lot of ways, especially not just in my spirituality and in theology, the theology of everything, but in my business. As soon as I just said, okay, I'm going to do it your way. And I had thought I had previously consecrated my business to Mary. I did. I absolutely did. But I can see how shallow that was now because I wasn't willing to actually change anything about it. So that was a test. Something as simple as a name change and a logo it doesn't seem like a big deal. But that was a giant test because I'm like, well, God doesn't really care about the name and the logo. And that's true. He might not. But what he cares about is the heart. And so that's a huge sacrifice for me because it was like really killing my own will, killing everything I had made on my own and making something with Mary to give to Jesus is the best way I can explain it. And when I did that, like I said, doors just started opening. People started falling on my lap. A team really has been built. Networking, just all kinds of stuff. My life has really just accelerated it as far as professionally speaking, my business over the last month, I would say. As soon as I decided to be obedient, it really started taking off. So anyway, I guess that's all I wanted to say. If you're going into this Christmas a little less holly jolly, you're in good company and you are who Christmas is for. That's where Jesus is born. He's born in the darkness, in the manger, in the cold winter's night of your life, of your day, of your month, of your year. And I will say this year has been the absolute most desolate I've ever experienced personally, for a lot of different reasons. But I've never felt as abandoned in life as I have this year. Spiritually, physically, financially, everything. So I have high hopes though for 2024. And a lot of times I have found desolation comes before consolation, but it comes before exaltation as well. So God humbles his people before he exalts them. So I needed that desolation. I needed to be humbled before I succeed so that I wouldn't be prone to pride. And so that I could give more glory to God and I couldn't take responsibility. I wouldn't be able to take responsibility really for the success or wherever he's leading me next. So, all right, guys, that's all I wanted to say. I hope y'all have a Merry Christmas, not a holly jolly Christmas. I hope you have a deeper spiritual, another word I'm looking for, joy this Christmas. And I hope you understand that if you are in a desolate, dark place, then Christmas is for you especially. So God bless. Merry Christmas. Joan of Arc Media out.